I love working back into abstracts that I've just created for fun intuitively. So today in the studio, I decided to dig through my box of collage materials, and I found these splatter dragged ink pieces that were just kind of unconventional mark making pieces that I had done a long time ago. So I decided it'd be really wonderful to use those as a jumping off point for a watercolor night. So I started just laying in some bright watercolors, just going with whatever colors made me happy, and letting the marks of ink that were already on the paper kind of help guide where I dropped in the watercolor. So just playing with transparency, letting the colors bleed, filling in areas with color, letting other areas remain the original black and white ink work, also playing with the overlap of that. There was some really neat stuff that happened when the lighter colors, such as the yellow, ended up going over the ink work and kind of muting that and making these kind of ghost-like, marks and images. And I absolutely love how these turned out so much. And I think I'm going to need to make some more abstract unconventional mark pages because I just wanted to keep painting more and more and more of these. They brought me so much joy in the studio that night. And it's funny because this one I really just chose colors that I like. This isn't a palette that I necessarily work with often. I tend to go more analogous with my color choices, and it started off that way with like the pinks and the violets, but then I just really wanted to put that pop of yellow or orange and pinks, I guess, was the start. So I did start warms, which is another thing I do warms and then cools, and then often I go analogous, but this one really just kind of kept expanding as I went, and I love it. I love the balance between the warm and the cool and the play of the light and the dark. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. And then I really wanted to make another one, so I was very excited to find another unconventional mark ink piece in there. And this time I did stick with more of an analogous color scheme. I loved the brightness in the first one, so I sought out a green that was bright and vibrant to really create some nice contrast against the dark areas. Following the same process, just letting the ink work that was on the paper guide what came next when it came to putting in the watercolor. And then letting each of those sections build on themselves as I continue to work intuitively and just address whatever next area came to my attention. And just going back and forth between the lime green and the yellow, letting them bleed together, letting them kind of just play on the page, keeping it super loose, and just really fun. I had a really fun time working on this one also. Then I wanted to put a little more contrast in for the color, so I went with one of my darker greens to add some pops there, just kind of along the edges where that limey green met the ink work. And I was trying to be very mindful of not losing too much of the white. I wanted to define those areas with the color, but I could have painted everything, and I think that would have looked interesting too, but I really love contrast. So I've got the contrast of the black and white to the color, but then also just in general the contrast of mark to empty space and value and hue to empty space, which is really important to me in my artwork. And these turned out great. They were so much fun. So if you are interested in unconventional mark making, you should definitely check out my Mark Making Beyond the Brush class on Skillshare. I'll be sure to include a link in the description. And watch for more of these. These videos were really fun to make, and I can't wait to do more. Till next time.